not leave, probably allergic to sunlight. That's the thing I would worry about the most, not robots.
Yeah, I think you're definitely onto something there. 100%. They actually talk about a virtual world in that short story that I was telling you about Mana, and some people choose to live in there, and that's just like that's the cool thing about it though. It should just be that person's choice.
Yeah, you're right.
But I think a part of it too is helping people understand that maybe that's not the best choice. I think that's another thing we have to be careful about that we love in this society is like, hey, it's your choice. Do whatever you want. That's fine. And I think that's important. I think you shouldn't make people make a choice, but I think you should encourage them and help them make the best choice. Right? I think it's another thing that should be added onto that instead of just like, let everyone be free. Let everyone be free, but help them be free in the way that they're going to really be free and free from fear. Right?
Because in that sharing economy that you talked about, if people are not being constructive, if they're not contributing back to society, then you might have a non-functional society where people are VR, in their homes and not actually helping with building the cars or the robots or the things that the shared economy needs.
Exactly, right? And connecting with each other, I think is really what it all comes down to. What I found, I think it really comes down to, which is even like the cooperation is another form of connection, like working together with people towards an ideal just gives people a sense of fulfillment and purpose, which is all kind of what we want, right? And that's really what it comes down to is I think, which is what we lose a lot here in like this capitalistic individualist society. The individual needs a place, they need choice, I believe, but also they need to be connected to others because we are a very communal type of being that needs others to be around us. And
it's sharing ideas, right? Yeah. It's like when I work at home a lot, and I find that it's like a vacuum, like it's an ecosystem of your own thoughts that as soon as you come to a space like Heatsink Labs, now you're talking about these ideas. It's like the iteration loop. Yeah. Like one idea turns into a better idea just because you're right. People like to communicate. Yeah. And they need to communicate.
Absolutely. I think it's an essential human need. Like that's what leads and spirals into depression. Like I dealt seriously with depression myself. And a lot of that too was loneliness. Yeah. And like that's something that I've just dealt with my whole life. I think a part of it is being an only child, and just like being alone a lot, like
you learn how to be alone.
Yeah, you learn, and it's comfortable, but it's also like not comfortable. It's like it's where I know and like I've been a lot, so I'm like kind of set with it. But it's also I do really want and value strongly human connection. Like I'm very, very strong around values around like friendship. That's one of the things that hold to the highest regard. Family, etc. But
I think that's a key point to this new island society. Yeah. It's like when I go to the Bay Area, everyone is so standoffish about their ideas. It's the ultimate capitalism.
Yeah, because you're going to take my idea.
It's my idea, and I'm not going to talk to you about it. I'm not going to share this with you. We're all doing this it's like gangs. Like companies wear the same logos. They look like gangs against each other, right? Yeah. And you come like Phoenix. I love Phoenix because everyone seems to share together. Everyone's trying to help each other reach that next level because the whole valley benefits from it. Yeah. Like if I help you be more successful, you're going to need to hire more people, and the whole valley benefits from that. And that's I think back to that sharing economy where you have to communicate, you have to help one another, and that open source, part of that economy helps drive a lot of that behavior, I think, too.
Totally, man. And that's what I love about Phoenix, too. I get that sense as well, and that's why I love #SPHX.
Yeah, love it, too. I'm in that Slack.
Awesome. Yeah. And that's one of the things we're trying to do is, be one of the most generous startup communities in the world.
It really is.
The most, right? And,
it really is.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to that, and there's a lot, I think we definitely, there's a lot we need to do in order to make sure we are that and stay that way and promote that more, and we're doing those things, but that's really what it comes down to is working together, being like, we all want to win. We all want the group to win. We want it to be, an awesome community together. And then we all benefit because that means if we all really think about it too, that means there's more money in the ecosystem. That means there's more talent in the ecosystem for like them to maybe start something or, once they're kind of, that company grows to a point that they don't like being in a big corporation, they can go over to join another small startup and help that one get big again and certain people like that area, right? It's just like, it all will work. It all will be fine if we just kind of release this fear and are just cool with it, and just things will work out and be all right, and we'll work through the problems as they come.
There's a lot of truth to that comment. Mm-hmm. My previous startup before Computes was called Octoblue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk about
that. It was an Internet of Things mesh networking company, and it was acquired by Citrix about 3 years ago. So a year before that, we started right here in Heatsink Labs.
Oh, did you really?
And cool. What was funny was I was just passionate about this idea. It started off all being open source on GitHub. It was called Skynet. In fact, it was called Skynet.io. I was trying to create this machine-to-machine instant messaging platform where everything could intercommunicate. And what happened is everyone, like at Coffee and Code here, where everyone's sitting at the table working on projects either by themselves or together, everyone started asking about Skynet, and then they started connecting their things to Skynet. And what ended up happening was I built a development team with people that had helped me here, collaborated with this open source project here as it became a company. So that was an example of us starting off with an idea, communicating and sharing that with the community, and having the community come together as a bigger win, us all creating jobs for all the developers here. But there was another interesting effect that happened. There was probably 2 or 3 or 4 other companies that started around the IoT focus, like one around parking meters, Mike Wolf, one around what Louis doing with chirpers, all around building other IoT solutions, because we were motivated and sharing and excited about, especially a lot of them were using the Skynet underpinnings, underneath, because it was all open source. So it allowed, several other companies to get started just with that collaboration and
so cool.
And communication.
That's so cool. Yeah, man. One thing too that I kind of try to iterate, especially to people, like a lot of people like new into the startup world, are very, hey, I want to about my idea. Yeah. And I've been that person once.
Sign this NDA. I can't talk to you until you do.
And it's like, okay, dude. A lot of it too, and for some people, it's because a lot of people are scared they're not going to have like another idea.
Right.
And I'm lucky that I don't have that problem.
Yeah.
I have the
You'll
problem.
have a new one tomorrow.
Exactly. Like, I have so many. I'm like, I give people ideas. I'm like, hey, listen, try this idea.
I want to use it. Here's an idea.
Yeah, exactly. I can't, because I can't make all of them, but I want to see that happen. Yeah. Like, here, please.
We're raising money for ComputeSync right now, and no one signs NDAs anymore. Ideas are like, there's millions of them out there. Exactly. It's really who executes.
100%. That's all that really matters.
And the team, the brain share, first to market, the team, the creativity around the execution.
Yeah. If like people want to be like guarding of something, guard your team.
Yeah.
Make them super happy and just like pumped and give everything into them. Guard them. Like, that's who needs to be guarded.
Ideas are a dime a dozen. It's execution.
100%. 100%.
And you can't do it alone. That's what I'm learning. It's like, investors won't invest in a one-man founder company, right? They want a team. They're investing in the team.
Because they know that's where
the team can pivot. Yep. It might not be the right idea out of the chute, but the team can work together, improve upon it, pivot as needed, till they finally hit the successful recipe that
makes it skyrocket and work, man. Yeah. That's what's exciting, and that's the whole team.
It's the communication, it's the sharing, it's the open source even ties into that. I think this new world of decentralization, it's going to be more disruptive than people even realize. Like these big companies, these 800-pound gorillas like Facebook. Yeah, we tolerate it because it's the 800-pound gorilla. It's like critical mass of adoption.
Of course.
But breach after breach after breach and privacy issues. I mean, I can't help but think there are 1 or 2 more breaches from going out of business. And what I mean by that is there will be decentralized companies or decentralized technologies that allow people to interconnect peer-to-peer without a company necessarily behind it, just a platform that allows all of this to be replaced. So I think, like I was watching, YouTube. We all use YouTube every day. There's this new decentralized version of YouTube called DTube, D.Tube,
Interesting.
And it was a guy with an idea, open source. Now I think there's a dozen programmers working on it. And what they've created, I don't even think it's a company. What they've created was this decentralized platform that has all of the same look and feel of YouTube, but it's decentralized. There isn't like censorship. There isn't a way to like take anything down. There isn't a way to actually turn it off. It like runs by computers interconnecting with each other and sharing videos in a peer-to-peer fashion. So it's I think by the time the YouTubes of the world, the Facebooks of the world, the Google searches of the world, by the time they see dozens of new startups coming that all work without companies or without networks or without like cloud platforms, they just organically connect and decentralized, communicate and compute with one another. This is going to be a world of disruption that I don't think they even see coming yet.
That's interesting. Yeah, so I have two questions based on what you just said. The first is, are you a little scared? Like, that is kind of like...
It sounds like anarchy. When I first started getting into this, and then the crypto payments, like we were talking about that at the beginning of the podcast, it's like, now you don't even use paper money anymore. Now there's like crypto payments. That's a global economy, a global payment system, micropayments, what have you. But when I first started getting exposed to this, it felt like anarchy. It felt like down with government. We're going to establish our own companies, our own platforms, our own currency. We'll be essentially our own islands, even if we aren't physically located on one.
Right.
And we're going to, in fact, to make this even more scary, for lack of a better word, there's these new things called DAOs, decentralized authoritative organizations. So they act like companies, but there's no single person or team behind them. They're like on voting. Like it's like developers that have this idea. Everyone's kind of voting on what this decentralized organization does or looks like, and there isn't a way to stop it. There isn't a way to take it down. There isn't a person to put in jail. There isn't. It's decentralized autonomous. That's what it is. Decentralized autonomous organizations.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting. So with that idea is super cool and exciting. Also a little scary, and I just want, like, those are things that are just like, I want to see how it works. Right? I want to see how it develops. And sure, I think there's a way to do everything right and a way to do everything wrong. And the thing with like a team and like leadership is it helps give like direction and I guess cohesiveness and vision, is what kind of you get with that. And sometimes like maybe there is a time where it needs to be shut down, or like there's something bad going on. It's like, maybe we need to turn this thing off. Like, where's this going? Like, it gets on like a spiral, like the wrong spiral. Like, again, I think a lot of it is just, all right, how do you make sure, because not all the time, like, especially in voting on things, not everyone sometimes has an equal vote.
Right.
There's some people who like, you don't know what you're voting on. And there's some people who like, you know what you're voting on, and there's some people like know what they're voting on and know they're voting on it in like kind of a manipulative way, right?
Yeah.
So that's another thing. It's like
what my friend said to vote on. That's what I'm gonna vote, because I don't know
exactly.
I don't know any better.
Yeah. So there's those aspects of it too that I think just need to make sure that we're thinking through. I'm not saying that should stop this kind of concept by any ideas. I'm just saying like certain things sometimes I feel too, which is can just like spiral, and that's how you get to. In certain ways, like we were today, we're just like, oh, we're doing like, just like, we're like, oh, well, this works. Like, it works now. This is cool. We want it. Let's have it. Instead of saying like, hold on, take a step back for a second and just like really think through this. And then let's go right ahead. Once we just thought through it, like a couple steps more to like where we're trying to really go and how do we get there. And it's like, oh, well, we got that figured out. Let's try that out. See if it worked or not. And then try again, right?
Yeah.
Scientific method with it. Hypothesis, test, iterate, repeat.
Yeah. I think to your point, I think, in humanity, there are natural leaders. Like people that are natural leaders have that quality, I guess, about themselves. A lot of times, and maybe it's how your engagement level, your passionate level on a topic might make you a leader in one field and maybe not in another, maybe.
That could be it. I think, personally, leadership for me, personally, leadership